Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Terry Koss Show, a wrestling podcast. I am your host, Terry Koss, coming at you from the Great White North, and this week I'm going to discuss NXT Takeover Brooklyn II and Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor 14. First up, let's take a look at NXT's Takeover Brooklyn II. Then this took place on August the 20th at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, with an attendance of 15,671. Our first match featured Austin Aries up against No Way Jose. Not a bad match. Jose got in more, in the match than I thought he would have. A really great brawler, but in the end, Aries defeats No Way Jose. As soon as Aries, celebrates winning the match, all of a sudden comes Hideo Itami. Now, Hideo Itami we have not seen in quite a long time. Hideo Itami hits the ring, takes off his jacket, him and Aries go out, he slaps Aries a few times, picks up Aries on his shoulders for what looks like a fireman's carry, and hits him with the GTS. That is right, the GTS, the go to sleep, which he actually invented, so that was pretty cool. I guess since, Punk isn't in WWE anymore, I guess it's okay for Tommy to use the GTS, and what a pop he got for using that. The next match featured the debuting Ember Moon up against Billie Kay. Now, this was a fairly good match. Ember Moon, got some moves in. Billie Kay got some great moves in. The ending, the finish was kind of a really cool stunner from the top rope, kind of. Like, Kay was in the corner of the ring, and Ember Moon just kind of came off in kind of like a twisting stunner, and she gets the win there. Our next matchup featured Andrade Cien Almas up against the debuting Bobby Roode. Now, for those who have not seen Takeover 2, Bobby Roode had a, let's just say it, glorious entrance. He starts off on this big high thing and starts coming down. He has his arms out, and it looks, in a way to say it, glorious. Has a good matchup against Almas. Almas, I'm really liking. He's got some good things going for him. Put up a great effort up against Bobby Roode, but Bobby gets the win and gets, I believe, his first win in NXT. The next match, which was one of the best matches of the night, we have for the NXT Tag Team Championships. We have the Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, the champions, up against the team of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. This match, oh my gosh, was so awesome. Just back and forth. Gargano and Ciampa came so close so many times to winning the NXT Tag Team titles. I for sure thought that they were going to win them. The Revival, great tag team maneuvers, very reminiscent of the Andersons, Arn and Ole. Great, tag team wrestling, keeping the one guy in your corner and just kind of a ground and pound style, and really long. This one almost went 20 minutes, and the Revival ended up beating Gargano and Ciampa. I'd like to see a rematch between these two teams. Our next match was for the NXT Women's Championship. We have the champion Asuka against Bayley. Now, Asuka had defeated Bayley for the NXT Women's Championship at, I believe, NXT Takeover Dallas, which was in April of this year, and Bayley finally gets her rematch. Great match. Bayley comes out, great entrance, has the wacky waving inflatable arm tube man. I think I'm saying that right. If not, feel free to correct me. And, puts up quite a fight against Asuka. Asuka, really known, I don't know about really known, but really good with her striking, her kicks, could probably knock me out. Then again, that's not exactly too tough of a task. However many times she kicked Bayley, Bayley kept getting up, and so Asuka had her in the Asuka lock, which is how she beat her at NXT TakeOver Dallas. And, we thought, okay, this is, I thought this is it, this is over. Bayley is able to get out of the Asuka lock, amazingly, and, puts up a great fight up against Asuka, but Asuka, with her, her strikes and her, everything, she was able to defeat Bayley and remain the NXT Women's Champion. Our last match, the main event of the night, for the NXT Championship, featured Samoa Joe, who's the champion, up against Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura comes out, has this awesome entrance. Before we even see Nakamura come out, we have a violin player come out and, start playing. And as Nakamura comes out, he's playing the violin parts of The Rising Sun, and it's just, it's so cool. The performance of it actually was released on iTunes as a single, which is very surprising. Very good match between Samoa Joe and Shinsuke. Shinsuke kicks like there is no tomorrow. I couldn't imagine getting kicked by Nakamura. Like, Nakamura is King of Strong Style, great at striking. Hits Joe with a Kinshasa. Joe kicks out. Joe hits him with a Muscle Buster. Nakamura kicks out. Nakamura eventually hits him with a second Kinshasa, which is basically a running knee strike. And Shinsuke Nakamura becomes the brand new NXT champion. Overall, this was a really good, special. I thought up and down the card, the matches were all great. Right now, let's take a look at Ring of Honor's last pay-per-view, Death Before Dishonor, taking place from Sam's Town Live in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, this one is interesting because it features some of the stars from New Japan Pro Wrestling as well. As you can see in the logo, if you look right in the middle, the O in Dishonor is replaced with the New Japan Pro Wrestling logo. So in our first match, we had a four-corner survival match. The winner becomes the number one contender to the ROH World Television Championship. We have Donovan Dijak with Prince Nana up against Lio Rush, Jay White, and Kamatachi. Now, Kamatachi and Jay White both coming from New Japan. Really good match. Lio Rush continues to impress, has only been wrestling for 1 year, and his moves and high flying are just excellent. If you've never seen a Lio Rush match, check it out. I cannot recommend him enough. Dijak ends up getting the win with Feast Your Eyes, which is basically, I want to say, kind of a reverse GTS. I guess, kind of look it up. So he's the number one contender and gets the next title shot, the television title. Our next match was New Japan's Katsuyori Shibata up against Silas Young. Shibata, I've heard of. I know he's a former IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champion with Hiroki Goto. He is the current Never Openweight Champion. I don't know what Never stands for. Again, you'd have to look it up. Shibata, oh my gosh, impressed the heck out of me. Shibata's kicks, like, those are some of the hardest kicks I have ever seen in wrestling. And, like, Silas, took all those kicks and, kept on going. And the match was just, very much a ground and pound, smash mouth kind of match. Each hitting each other with all they could. And Shibata ends up winning the match, gets Silas in a reverse choke, and then hits him with the PK, which is the penalty kick. Now, that happens when the opposing wrestler is sitting on the ground, and Shibata just comes and kicks him right in the chest. Shibata gets the win. We see at the end of the match, Shibata and Young each slapping each other, but shaking hands and showing, the code of respect. Or there is respect between these two men. The next match was a six-man tag team. We had two of the biggest factions in New Japan. We had the Bullet Club, this consisting of Yujiro Takahashi, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. Tonga and Loa are the former IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, up against Chaos, Beretta and Rocky Romero, better known as Roppongi Vice, and Toru Yano. I had never actually seen Yano wrestle up to this point. I've heard of him, and this guy, oh my gosh, he's so funny in the ring. Like the way, he gets out of holds, and he, as Kevin Kelly said, he'll find any way to win a match, and just a great contest, seeing the heavyweights of Tonga and Loa up against Roppongi Vice, great match, and Chaos gets the win. Next match, we have an Anything Goes match. Although this was scheduled, this kind of just came out of nowhere. Adam Page just kind of came and started beating on Toru Yano. Jay Briscoe came out. This match was insane. Like, the stuff they put each other through. One point somebody went through a table. There was chairs. There was, almost anything you could think of in this match. And a great effort put forth by both competitors, and Adam Page getting the win, the biggest win of his career at this point. The next match We have the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Kazuchika Okada, going up against Dalton Castle with the boys. Surprisingly, Gedo is not by his side. Usually in any Okada match, you see Gedo, which kind of is his mentor, his manager type of thing. With him, he didn't see that. A great match between these two guys. Okada, of course, has all his great moves in the Rainmaker, and Castle has this really good amateur wrestling background. Hits Okada with the bangarang, kicks out. Okada tries for the Rainmaker. Castle reverses it. There are times that the boys start fanning Okada, and then Okada's just like, what the heck's going on? Okada ends up getting the win with the Rainmaker, and it's really cool at the end. Usually when Okada comes to the ring, he does kind of like a pose, and then all this money comes down because he's the Rainmaker. And so at the end of the match, they had Okada and Castle and the boys all kind of doing the Rainmaker pose, so that was pretty cool. Next match was for the television title. We had champion Bobby Fish up against Mark Briscoe. This one was really good. Fish is getting better every time I see him. Really good in the submission, really good with submissions, Mark Briscoe, tried his hardest. I really, really wanted him to win. Hit Bobby Fish with the Froggy Bow. I thought that was it. Fish kicks out. Tries for another. Fish hits Briscoe with a Falcon Arrow. Briscoe kicks out of that. Briscoe tries for another Froggy Bow. Ends up getting caught. I think the Fish's knee ends up getting him, or knee ends up getting him the jaw, or something like that. And Fish hits Briscoe with a Falcon Arrow to win the match. Great match. Hopefully, one of these days we'll see Mark Briscoe win that title. Again, the code of honor. It was nice seeing the shaking of hands between the two to the showing of respect between each other. The next match was a 3-way tag team match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. Now this featured one Ring of Honor team and 2 teams from New Japan. The first team was Los Ingor. I am really bad at pronouncing this name. Los Ingobernables de Japón. You have Tetsuya Naito and Evil going up against Big Mike, Michael Elgin, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. And they are challenging the Addiction, Daniels and Kazarian. Great match. Big Mike makes this incredible dive. I didn't think he could do it. The size of Elgin and how big he is, just does this awesome leap over the top rope, and it's just it's so good. Of course, Kamatachi gets involved. Kamatachi is, of course, Kamatachi is with the Addiction. Tried to get the win. At the end, it looked like Tanahashi and Elgin were going to win it. Tanahashi hit Evil with the High Fly Flow, which is a version of the Frog Splash. Just before he goes to hit the High Fly Flow, Daniels tags him on the boot, hits the High Fly Flow. Daniel comes in and just kind of covers both of them and gets the 1, 2, 3. And the Addiction remain the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. In the main event, we had the Bullet Club's Adam Cole up against Jay Lethal for the Ring of Honor World title. Now, Jay has held this title, from what I heard, up to this point, over 400 days in his title reign. This feud got really interesting. Up at, I think it was Best in the World, Colt Cabana had a match up against Jay Lethal for the world title. And the Bullet Club had announced they were going to introduce a new member. So, Colt and Jay are having their match. All of a sudden, the lights go off. We see Adam Cole with a Bullet Club shirt on. And they just, him and the Young Bucks and Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, just, they go and beat up Jay Lethal and Colt Cabana. So that match ended up not taking place. I believe they did have a second match. So this is kind of put a thing where Adam Cole wants a shot at the world title. A match on Ring of Honor Wrestling TV. Jay Lethal's teaming up with Briscoes against, I can't remember who it was. At the very end, I think Jay Lethal's team ends up getting the win. Adam Cole and the Young Bucks come in. They pile drive Jay Briscoe onto a chair, and they put Mark Briscoe through a table, and then They super kick Jay Lethal, and they have him kind of right on the ropes. And Cole takes out a pair of scissors, cuts the braids off of the back of Jay Lethal's hair, and then starts to shave his head. Of course, this makes Jay Lethal super pissed off. And the ROH matchmaker Nigel McGuinness tells Cole, because of your actions, you will not get another shot at the Ring of Honor World title. Jay Lethal says, I need this. I need revenge. So this sets up the match. A very, very good match between Lethal and Adam Cole. Great moves throughout. One point, it looks like Cole's going to get put through a table. Jay Lethal goes for the Hail for the King elbow drop. He misses, goes through the table, and ends up getting a cut on his head, and he has a bit of a bruise on his back. Cole tries for the... I don't know what his move is called, but he tries it a few times. Lethal kicks out every single time. Jay goes for the lethal injection. Cole kicks out. Cole pulls the referee aside, low blows Jay, and then tries for the move. Jay kicks out. Cole tries for a destroyer, a Canadian destroyer, as you know, the flip pile driver. The way Cole does it, he goes on the middle, or he goes to the corner, jumps off, and hits the pile driver there. So hits Jay Lethal with that, then hits him with his move, which is, I don't really know what to call it. And so he hits him with that move, and he kicks out, and people are just like their mouths are just open, like, how is Jay kicking out at this point? Cole eventually hits him with another one of his moves, with a Shining Wizard, and a couple of his moves, and gets a 3 count, and becomes the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. Now, this makes him the 3rd man in Ring of Honor history to become a 2-time World Champion. The very first was Austin Aries, the second was Jay Briscoe, and the third is Adam Cole. But, a little twist, as we see Adam Cole, raising the world title, and he's so happy, we see Kyle O'Reilly behind him. O'Reilly takes it to him, suplexes him, and just kind of, tries to get a little bit of revenge up against Adam Cole, because Adam Cole had cost Kyle O'Reilly the Ring of Honor World title on a couple of occasions, and he said that he will make sure Kyle O'Reilly never gets a world title shot. So this will be interesting to see how they fit, because Jay is going to get, obviously, a rematch. It's going to be interesting to see if they add O'Reilly to that match. Well, that about does it for my time today. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you had as much fun listening to me as I did talking to you. Be sure to follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/Terry Koss Show Podcast. You can also follow me on Twitter at Cheeto Koss. That's CheetoKoss. And as always, if you come across a really cool wrestling theme you want me to hear, throw a link my way. If you see a really cool match, throw it my way. And for Terry Koss, I've been Terry Koss. I'll see you next time.